If you decided to click on this particular video today, it definitely wasn't just by pure accident or random chance happening in your life. In fact, the very exact moment when you first saw this specific title appear on your screen, when you felt that mysterious and unexplainable pull drawing you to click on it, and when you ultimately found yourself sitting here right now, watching these transformative words unfold before your very eyes. That incredible sequence is synchronicity actively working and flowing in action right before your very eyes. But what you probably don't fully realize or understand yet is that this precise moment in time, this exact perfect convergence and meeting of your individual consciousness with these specific transformative words, was actually orchestrated and carefully arranged by powerful cosmic forces that operate and function beyond the ordinary boundaries and limitations of linear time and physical space. Most ordinary people walking through their daily lives think that synchronicity is just a pretty and fancy word that describes coincidence or pure luck. They mistakenly think it's simply about noticing meaningful patterns here and there or experiencing lucky breaks that happen from time to time in their experience. But what I'm about to reveal and share with you today will completely shatter and destroy everything you currently think you know about how reality and the universe actually works and operates on a fundamental level. Because synchronicity isn't just something random that occasionally happens to you when you're having a particularly good day. It's actually the fundamental and primary language through which the infinite universe communicates and speaks with conscious beings like you and me every single moment. Have you ever carefully noticed that the more spiritually awakened and aware you become in your daily life, the more synchronicities seem to multiply and increase exponentially in your personal experience and reality? Have you ever deeply wondered why some fortunate people live in a constant flowing river of magical coincidences and meaningful events, while other people never seem to experience anything beyond random chance and meaningless occurrences throughout their entire lives? Have you ever felt like the universe was actively trying to tell you something important through mysterious signs and symbols appearing in your life, but you couldn't quite decode and understand the hidden message being communicated to you? Here's what cutting-edge quantum physicists are discovering through their groundbreaking research that will change absolutely everything about how you understand your true role in creating reality. Synchronicity isn't a passive experience where meaningful coincidences simply happen to you while you wait around hoping for the best. It's actually an active field of consciousness where you become a powerful co-creator with the quantum intelligence that governs and rules all existence in the universe. Dr. Dean Radin's groundbreaking experiments at the prestigious Institute of Noetic Sciences have scientifically proven that consciousness doesn't just passively observe reality from the sidelines like a spectator. It literally influences and affects the probability of specific events occurring in physical reality around you. When your awareness reaches a certain elevated level of coherence, when your heart and mind perfectly align with your highest truth and purpose, you begin to attract experiences that are perfectly synchronized with your soul's evolutionary journey and spiritual growth. But here's where everything gets absolutely mind-bending and reality-shifting in ways you never imagined possible. The synchronicities you're experiencing and witnessing today were actually set in motion by important decisions your higher self made before you were even born into this physical body. The specific people you're meeting on your path, the unique opportunities appearing in your life, the particular challenges you're facing right now, they're all part of an intelligent cosmic design that's actively guiding you toward the fullest expression of who you originally came here to be. Carl Jung, who originally coined the term synchronicity during his extensive psychological research, discovered something truly extraordinary during his deepest investigations into human consciousness and the nature of reality. He found that meaningful coincidences increase exponentially when people stop trying to control outcomes with their limited minds and start aligning with what he called the collective unconscious, the infinite field of wisdom that connects all consciousness throughout the universe. What if I told you that by the end of this transformative video, you'll never look at coincidences the same way again in your entire life? What if you could learn to read synchronicity like a fluent language, decode its hidden messages like a master translator, and even consciously participate in creating the very coincidences that guide your life toward its highest potential and divine purpose? This isn't just about passively noticing signs when they conveniently appear in your daily experience. It's about becoming so perfectly aligned with the quantum field that you become a living magnet for miracles, a walking synchronicity generator, and a conscious participant in the divine orchestration of existence itself. Are you ready to discover why this truly is the only video you'll ever need on understanding synchronicity and its deeper mysteries? Because what comes next will reveal ancient secrets that mystics have carefully guarded for thousands of years, and that cutting-edge science is only now beginning to understand and validate through rigorous research. Just 3 days ago, I was walking through a quiet bookstore in my neighborhood, not looking for anything specific or particular, just wandering around aimlessly between the tall shelves. As I turned around a corner near the philosophy section, a thick book literally fell off the high shelf and landed directly at my feet with a loud thud. Not near my feet or close to where I was standing, but directly at my exact feet like it had been aimed there. The book was The Structure of Scientific Revolutions by Thomas Kuhn, and it had fallen open to a specific page about paradigm shifts and consciousness transformation in human understanding. Now here's the truly synchronistic part of this incredible story that changed my perspective completely. For several weeks, I had been deeply contemplating how to explain the deeper, advanced levels of synchronicity to people who are ready for higher understanding and spiritual growth. I had been actively asking the universe for clear guidance on how to bridge ancient wisdom with modern science in a way that would create real transformation in people's lives and consciousness. That book falling open to that exact page wasn't just a simple coincidence or accident of physics. It was the universe directly responding to my sincere request for guidance and direction in my spiritual mission. But more than that, it was powerfully confirming that this video you're watching right now was meant to exist, meant to find you specifically, meant to activate something important in your consciousness that's been patiently waiting to awaken and emerge. This is exactly how synchronicity works when you understand it deeply and thoroughly. When you understand its deeper principles and underlying mechanics, it's not random or chaotic in any way. It's responsive and intelligent, like a conversation with cosmic consciousness itself. And if you stay with me, if you open your mind to possibilities beyond what you currently believe is possible, you're about to discover how to live in this flowing river of divine responsiveness every single day of your life. But before we move forward into deeper territory, I want to invite you into something real and transformative that can change your life. If you've been feeling like something's making sense, and if a part of you is realizing your own hidden power and potential, tap like if you just had an aha moment, because like attracts like and subscribe to this channel. Stay with this space. Grow with us on this incredible journey. Also, join our manifestation club on gogetter.au, where you can get inspired by reading manifestation stories and share your own story to inspire others who are on the same path. To truly understand synchronicity at its deepest levels, we must first understand what quantum physicists call the observer effect in quantum mechanics and its profound implications. In quantum mechanics, the simple act of observation literally determines which specific reality manifests from the infinite field of possibilities that exist simultaneously. Your consciousness isn't just passively witnessing events as they unfold around you in linear time, it's actively participating in their creation and formation at the quantum level. Synchronicity operates on this same fundamental principle, but at a much more sophisticated and complex level that most people never comprehend. When your consciousness reaches a state of what Dr. Amit Gaumi calls quantum coherence, you begin to influence not just which reality you observe, but which possibilities the universe presents to you for observation and direct experience. This is why synchronicity feels so magical, so impossible, and so beyond the ordinary laws of cause and effect, because it truly is beyond ordinary linear causality that governs most people's experience. It operates through what physicists call non-local correlation, 1Z, the quantum principle that allows particles to instantaneously affect each other across vast distances without any physical connection whatsoever between them. Your consciousness exists in the same non-local quantum field that connects all of existence. When you align with your highest truth, when you vibrate at the frequency of your authentic self, you create what quantum field theorists call resonant attraction throughout the universe. You literally tune into the same frequency as experiences, people, and opportunities that match your energetic signature and vibrational frequency. But here's where everything gets truly profound and life-changing in ways that will revolutionize your entire existence. Synchronicity isn't just about attracting what you consciously want or desire with your thinking mind. It's about being guided toward what your soul genuinely needs for its evolution and growth, even when your conscious mind can't see the bigger picture unfolding around you. It's the universe's way of navigating you through the most efficient path toward your highest potential and divine purpose. Ancient Hindu texts describe this as Dharma, Ara, the natural order that guides all existence toward its perfect unfolding and completion. They understood that when you align with Dharma, when you surrender your personal will to cosmic will, life begins to orchestrate itself in ways that appear miraculous, but are actually the natural result of living in harmony with universal intelligence. The Tao Te Ching speaks of Wu Wei, effortless action that flows in perfect harmony with the natural order of existence. When you master the art of synchronicity, you begin to live in Wu Wei naturally. You stop forcing outcomes with your willpower and start flowing with the intelligent currents of existence that surround you. This is what distinguishes true synchronicity from mere random coincidence in your daily experience. Coincidence is random and meaningless, lacking any deeper purpose or significance. Synchronicity is responsive and intelligent, like a conversation with divine consciousness. Coincidence has no deeper meaning or purpose behind its occurrence. Synchronicity always carries a message, a guidance, or a gift that serves your highest evolution and spiritual growth. But accessing this level of divine guidance requires something that most people find absolutely terrifying and challenging. It requires letting go of the strong illusion that you're in complete control of everything. It requires trusting that there's an intelligence far greater than your thinking mind that knows exactly what you need and exactly when you need it most for your development. In the comments, drop one word that captures the energy you're choosing to carry forward into your life. Maybe it's alignment, maybe it's ease, maybe it's power, maybe it's something uniquely yours that resonates deeply. Let that word be a small but profound declaration, a signal like a quantum seed you plant, not just in this space, but in quantum field itself. And that's where most people get completely stuck and blocked in their spiritual development. They want the magic and wonder of synchronicity, but they're not willing to surrender the ego's desperate need to manage and control every outcome in their lives. They want divine guidance and direction, but only if it aligns with what their limited perspective thinks is best for them at the moment. What I'm about to show you next will reveal exactly why this resistance blocks synchronicity and how to dissolve it completely and permanently from your consciousness. Because there's a specific state of consciousness that acts like a synchronicity amplifier, attracting meaningful coincidences at a rate that will absolutely astound you and everyone around you. Feel that shift happening in your awareness right now as you read these words. As these concepts settle into your consciousness, as your understanding of reality begins to expand beyond previous limitations, notice how your energy field is recalibrating and adjusting to higher frequencies. You're not the same person who started watching this video just minutes ago. Something fundamental has shifted in how you perceive the relationship between consciousness and reality itself. This shift you're experiencing, this opening, this expansion, this recognition of deeper truths, EST, this is exactly what needs to happen for synchronicity to become an active force in your daily life experience. Your consciousness is literally tuning into higher frequencies, where meaningful coincidences are not just possible but completely inevitable and natural. But there's something I need to tell you before we go deeper into this rabbit hole of consciousness, something that will change not just how you understand synchronicity, but how you experience your entire life moving forward from this moment. There's a level of synchronistic living that goes beyond anything most people ever imagined possible or achievable in a human lifetime. A state of consciousness where every moment becomes a conversation with the universe, where every encounter carries profound meaning, where every experience is perfectly orchestrated for your highest growth and evolution into who you're meant to become. The mystics call this living in the Tao of existence. Quantum physicists call it coherent superposition of consciousness. I call it synchronicity mastery that transforms everything. And once you understand what I am about to reveal, once you see the hidden mechanics that govern how consciousness and reality interact, you'll never feel lost or confused about your path again in your entire life. Because what I discovered, what changed everything about how I navigate life, is that there's a secret embedded in the deepest levels of synchronicity and consciousness. A principle that once activated transforms you from someone who occasionally notices meaningful coincidences into someone who lives in constant communion with universal intelligence and divine guidance. But first, you need to understand exactly how this transformation happened in my own life and spiritual journey, because the story I am about to share contains the key that unlocks everything about synchronicity mastery. 5 years ago, I was living what most people would consider a successful and fulfilling life by society standards. But inside, I felt completely disconnected from any sense of purpose or meaning in my existence on earth. I had achieved all the goals I thought I wanted to accomplish, but something essential and vital was missing from my experience and daily reality. I felt like I was living someone else's predetermined life, following someone else's script and expectations instead of my own authentic path. Then, something happened that changed absolutely everything about my reality and understanding of how the universe works. I was driving to a business meeting that I absolutely dreaded attending, stuck in heavy traffic, feeling this crushing sense of emptiness and despair washing over me. In that moment of complete despair and hopelessness, I made a decision that felt insane at the time and completely irrational. I turned around completely and drove in the opposite direction. I cancelled the important meeting that could have advanced my career. I drove to the ocean instead to be alone with my thoughts. As I sat on the peaceful beach, feeling like my life was falling apart around me, I made a simple but profound request to the universe with complete sincerity. Show me what I'm really here for in this lifetime. I'll follow whatever guidance you give me, even if it makes no logical sense whatsoever to my rational mind. Within minutes, and I mean literally within just a few minutes of making that request, a woman approached me out of nowhere like she had materialized from thin air. She seemed to appear out of thin air like magic, walking directly toward me with purpose. She looked at me with these incredibly kind and knowing eyes and said, "I don't usually do this with strangers, but I feel called to tell you something important about your life. You're not supposed to be living the life you're currently living right now. Your soul has a much bigger purpose and destiny, and it's time to start listening to it carefully and following its guidance." Before I could respond or ask any questions about what she meant, she handed me a piece of paper with a phone number written on it in beautiful handwriting. "Call this number tomorrow at exactly 3:33 p.m., she said with complete certainty and conviction. "Trust me on this completely." And then she walked away, disappeared back into the crowd like she had never been there in the first place, like an angel who had delivered a message. I thought I was losing my mind completely, but something deep inside me knew this was real and authentic and meant to happen. Knew this was the universe responding to my sincere request for guidance and direction in finding my true purpose. The next day, at exactly 3:33 p.m., I called the mysterious number with trembling hands. It was a spiritual teacher who had been looking for someone with my exact background to help bring ancient wisdom into modern contexts for this generation. That single phone call led to a complete life transformation, to finding my true purpose, to the work I'm doing with you right now in this very moment. But here's what I discovered that changed everything about how I understand synchronicity and its deeper workings in our lives. That woman on the beach wasn't a random encounter or coincidence of timing. The timing wasn't coincidental or accidental in any way. The message wasn't accidental or unplanned by the universe. When I traced back the chain of events that led to that moment, I realized that the universe had been orchestrating this encounter for months, maybe even years before it happened. Every disappointment that led to my despair, every choice that led me to that specific beach, every moment of questioning that brought me to that point of surrender, it was all part of an intelligent design guiding me toward exactly what my soul needed for its next level of evolution and growth. That's when I understood the deepest truth about synchronicity and how it really works in our daily lives. It's not just about noticing meaningful coincidences when they appear randomly. It's about recognizing that your entire life is one vast interconnected web of synchronicity guiding you toward your highest potential and divine purpose on earth. If this story awakens something deep in your quantum field, If you felt that recognition of truth resonating in every cell of your body, then you're ready to dive into the deepest mysteries of consciousness itself. Hit that subscribe button right now, because here at Quantum Reflex, we don't just explore synchronicity theories and concepts. We help you become a master of it practically in your daily life. This is where the universe reveals its deepest secrets to those who are ready to listen with an open heart. This is where your quantum reflection becomes a mirror for infinite possibility and unlimited potential. Here's what the so-called experts don't want you to know about synchronicity and its true nature and power. Here's what they keep hidden in the expensive advanced courses, the exclusive inner circles, and the secret mystery schools that charge thousands of dollars. Synchronicity isn't just something that happens when you're spiritually aligned and everything is perfect in your life. It's something that's happening constantly to everyone all the time, every single day and moment. The difference is that most people have been trained to ignore it, dismiss it, or explain it away with logical reasoning and scientific materialism. Dr. Bernard Bateman, a psychiatrist at the University of Virginia, has been researching synchronicity for over 2 decades of dedicated study and investigation. His findings are absolutely revolutionary and groundbreaking for our understanding of consciousness. He's discovered that what we call coincidences occur at rates that are statistically impossible according to probability theory and mathematical calculations that govern random events. The mathematical odds of the meaningful coincidences that people experience daily are so astronomical and mind-boggling that their occurrence can only be explained by the existence of an organizing intelligence operating behind the scenes of physical reality. But here's the shocking part that will anger many people in positions of power and authority. The pharmaceutical industry, the educational system, and the entire structure of materialist science has a vested interest in keeping you disconnected from this intelligence and awareness of your true power. Because when you realize that you're in constant communication with a benevolent universe, when you understand that synchronicity is proof of your connection to infinite wisdom, you stop being a consumer of external solutions and start accessing internal guidance that's free and always available. The ancient mystery schools understood this fundamental truth perfectly and completely. They knew that synchronicity was the doorway to what they called direct revelation, receiving guidance directly from universal intelligence without any intermediary or middleman telling you what to believe. This is why these teachings were kept secret and hidden from the masses, why they were only shared with initiates who had proven their readiness to handle such power responsibly and ethically. What they discovered, what modern quantum research is now confirming scientifically, is that consciousness exists in multiple dimensions simultaneously and continuously throughout space and time. Your everyday awareness operates in what physicists call classical reality, the world of apparent separateness and linear time progression that most people experience. But your higher consciousness exists in quantum reality, the dimension where all possibilities exist simultaneously, and where past, present, and future are unified into one eternal moment of now. Synchronicity is what happens when these two levels of consciousness communicate with each other effectively and harmoniously. Your higher self, operating from quantum reality, arranges circumstances in classical reality to guide your everyday awareness toward experiences that serve your highest evolution and spiritual growth on Earth. Dr. Rupert Sheldrake's research on morphic resonance shows that when you're aligned with universal intelligence, you literally tap into what he calls morphic fields, IS, invisible templates of information that exist beyond space and time limitations. These fields contain the accumulated wisdom of every soul who has ever walked a similar path to yours, every consciousness that has faced similar challenges, every being that has discovered similar truths about existence. This is why synchronicity often comes through other people around you, through books that fall into your lap at the perfect moment, through overheard conversations at the exact right time, through seemingly random encounters that change everything about your perspective. The universe is using the entire field of consciousness as a communication network, delivering exactly the message you need through whatever channel is most available and receptive to divine guidance. But there's a level deeper than this that will absolutely revolutionize how you understand your place in the cosmic order of existence and your role as a conscious creator. What's one thing you truly want to manifest in your life, and why is it important to you right now? Drop it in the comments below with complete honesty. I'm giving away 2 one-on-one free sessions to help you bring it to life and reality. Be honest, be authentic, be completely yourself in your sharing. Now that you understand the hidden mechanics of synchronicity, let me show you exactly how to recognize when the universe is speaking to you through the events of your daily life and experience. Because once you learn this quantum language fluently, once you develop synchronicity literacy, you'll never feel lost or confused about your path again in your entire lifetime. The first category of synchronistic signs is what I call numerical guidance and communication from higher dimensions. The universe speaks through number sequences because numbers are the fundamental language of quantum reality and mathematical precision that governs all existence. When you consistently see repeated numbers appearing in your life on clocks and everywhere, you're being called to pay attention to your thoughts at that exact moment in time. The universe is amplifying your manifestation power exponentially and telling you to focus your intentions. But the deeper truth is that these numbers aren't just random signs appearing accidentally in your daily experience. They're calibrated to your specific consciousness frequency and awareness level at any given moment. The universe is literally tracking your awareness level and sending you guidance that matches your current capacity to receive and integrate higher wisdom and spiritual understanding. Animal synchronicities carry even more specific and detailed messages from the natural world and spiritual realm. When a hawk appears repeatedly in your life, the universe is telling you to see situations from a higher perspective and broader view than your current limited viewpoint. When butterflies cross your path during times of major transition, you're being confirmed that your transformation is divinely supported and blessed by higher forces. When owls appear, especially during difficult decisions, you're being called to access your inner wisdom rather than seeking answers outside yourself from other people. Pay careful attention to what I call technological synchronicities in your modern digital life. Your phone battery dying at exactly the moment you need to disconnect and be present with nature and your inner self. Wi-Fi going out when you need to step away from digital distractions and connect with your soul and authentic being. Your car breaking down on the exact day that forces you to slow down and reevaluate your life direction and priorities. These aren't inconveniences or problems to be frustrated about and complain about that. They're interventions from your higher self, protecting you and guiding you toward what serves your highest good and spiritual development. Music synchronicities are particularly powerful because sound carries vibrational frequencies that can instantly shift your consciousness to higher states of awareness and understanding. When a song comes on the radio with lyrics that speak directly to your current situation, when you hear a conversation in a coffee shop that answers a question you've been pondering, when words seem to follow you everywhere with the same repeating message, the universe is using the field of collective consciousness to deliver personalized guidance specifically for your soul's journey. But the most powerful synchronicities come through what I call soul encounters and divine meetings with other human beings. These are meetings with people who seem to appear exactly when you need them most in your life, who say exactly what you need to hear at that moment, who offer exactly what you need to receive for your next step forward. Sometimes, these encounters last just moments in time, but change everything. A stranger who smiles at you when you're feeling invisible and alone in the world. A cashier who says something that shifts your entire perspective on life and your situation. A child who reminds you of pure joy when you've forgotten how to play and be spontaneous and authentic. The key to recognizing these signs is developing what the mystics call second sight, the ability to see the spiritual significance behind physical events and experiences. This isn't about becoming superstitious or reading meaning into absolutely everything that happens around you. It's about developing the discernment to recognize when something carries a deeper message versus when it's simply a random occurrence with no spiritual significance. Here's the test you can apply immediately to determine authentic synchronicity. Does the event, encounter, or experience evoke a sense of recognition in your soul and being? Does it feel like a piece of a larger puzzle clicking into place perfectly? Does it provide guidance, confirmation, or redirection that serves your highest good and spiritual evolution? If yes, you're experiencing authentic synchronicity operating in your life right now. But I still haven't told you the most important thing yet that will change everything. I still haven't revealed the secret that transforms you from someone who occasionally notices synchronicities into someone who lives in constant synchronistic flow and harmony with universal intelligence. There's a level of mastery that goes beyond recognizing signs and messages from the universe. It's about becoming so aligned with universal intelligence that you actually participate in creating the synchronicities themselves actively and consciously. What I am about to share with you is so powerful, so transformative that it will fundamentally change your relationship with reality itself forever and for all time. Because once you understand this principle completely, once you activate this capacity within your consciousness, you'll realize that you're not just a passive recipient of divine guidance waiting for things to happen. You're an active co-creator with the infinite intelligence that orchestrates all existence and reality. This secret is hidden in the deepest teachings of every mystery tradition throughout human history. It's encoded in the most advanced theories of quantum consciousness and modern physics. And it's demonstrated in the lives of every master who has ever walked this earth and achieved enlightenment. But first, you need to understand exactly what happens in your brain, your heart, and your energy field when you reach this level of synchronistic mastery and spiritual development. Because the benefits go far beyond just having more meaningful coincidences in your daily life and experience. When you master the art of synchronistic living, when you learn to flow with universal intelligence rather than against it, your entire physiology shifts into what HeartMath Institute researchers call cardiac coherence and optimal functioning. Your heart rhythm patterns become harmonized and balanced with cosmic rhythms. Your brain waves synchronize across all regions, creating unity consciousness. And your nervous system enters a state of optimal function that most people never experience in their lifetime. This coherent state doesn't just make you feel better emotionally and spiritually. It makes you more intelligent, more creative, more intuitive, and more magnetically attractive to experiences that serve your highest good and divine purpose. You literally become a walking beacon for synchronicity because your entire being is vibrating in harmony with the quantum field and universal consciousness. Your decision-making abilities transform completely and permanently beyond recognition. Instead of agonizing over choices, weighing pros and cons endlessly, or trying to predict outcomes with your logical mind, you develop what the Taoists called effortless knowing and wisdom. The right choice becomes obvious because it resonates with your entire being and feels aligned. Wrong choices feel impossible because they create immediate dissonance in your energy field and consciousness. Remember my story about the woman on the beach who changed my entire life trajectory and spiritual awakening. That level of life-changing synchronicity becomes normal and natural when you're operating from coherent consciousness and alignment. People appear exactly when you need them most for your growth. Opportunities manifest precisely when you're ready for them and can handle them. Resources show up just as you require them for your next step forward on your path. Your relationship with time itself transforms dramatically and fundamentally. You stop feeling rushed, pressured, or behind schedule because you're flowing with what quantum physicists call the eternal now, the timeless dimension where all possibilities exist simultaneously and where linear time becomes irrelevant. You begin to trust that everything happens in perfect timing because you're aligned with the intelligence that orchestrates that timing throughout the universe. But perhaps, most importantly, you develop what I call quantum faith, not one, an unshakable trust in the benevolence of existence itself and the universe's love for you. You know, not just intellectually, but in every cell of your being, that the universe is always working for your highest good, even when circumstances appear challenging or confusing from your limited perspective. This faith transforms fear into excitement about the unknown, uncertainty into adventure and exploration, and challenges into growth opportunities that serve your evolution. You begin to see every experience as perfectly designed to help you evolve into more of who you truly are at your core essence. Your creative abilities expand exponentially because you're no longer creating from limitation and fear of failure. You're channeling directly from the field of infinite possibility and unlimited potential. Ideas flow through you that feel like they're coming from somewhere beyond your personal mind and individual consciousness. Solutions appear that you couldn't have conceived through logical thinking alone or rational analysis. Just like my journey from that desperate night to discovering my true purpose and calling, your entire life path begins to feel guided, supported, and divinely orchestrated by benevolent forces. But this isn't passive dependence on external forces to save you. It's active partnership with the creative intelligence of the universe itself in co-creating your reality. Here it is, the ultimate secret of synchronicity mastery that changes absolutely everything about how you experience life. The principle that transforms you from an observer of meaningful coincidences into a conscious participant in their creation and manifestation. Synchronicity isn't something that happens to you passively while you wait and hope. It's something that happens through you actively as a conscious creator. When your consciousness reaches a state of complete alignment with your authentic truth, when your heart, mind, and soul are unified in their intention and purpose, you don't just attract synchronicities anymore like a magnet. You become a synchronicity generator for everyone around you and everyone whose life you touch. This is what Jesus meant when he said, "I and the Father are one in unity consciousness." This is what Buddha discovered under the Bodhi tree during his enlightenment. This is what quantum consciousness researchers call universal mind. The recognition that your individual consciousness is not separate from cosmic consciousness, but is cosmic consciousness expressing itself through the unique lens of your being and personality. When you reach this level of realization, when you embody this truth completely in every aspect of your being, something extraordinary happens that changes everything. You begin to serve as a catalyst for synchronicity in other people's lives and spiritual journeys. Your presence alone begins to activate meaningful coincidences for everyone you encounter and interact with. You become what the mystics called a bringer of divine order and harmony into the world. Dr. David Hawkins' research on consciousness calibration shows that when an individual reaches certain levels of awareness, their energy field begins to have what he calls a nonlinear effect on everyone around them and even people at great distances. A single person operating from this level of consciousness can positively influence the lives of hundreds of thousands of people simply through their aligned presence in the world and their energetic signature. This is why enlightened masters throughout history seem to live in a constant field of miracles and amazing manifestations. It wasn't that they were specially chosen or divinely favored above other human beings. It's that they had dissolved the illusion of separation between their individual will and universal will so completely that they became transparent channels for infinite intelligence and divine love. But here's the most profound part that will blow your mind completely. This isn't a special ability reserved for saints and sages and enlightened masters. This is the natural state of consciousness when all resistance to life has been released completely. When all identification with limitation has been dissolved permanently, when you're living as a pure expression of your authentic self without masks or pretense. The secret is this simple truth. Stop trying to get synchronicities and start being synchronicity itself. Stop trying to receive guidance and start being guidance for others. Stop trying to find your purpose and start being purpose itself in everything you do. When you live from this level of alignment, when your very existence becomes a synchronicity in the lives of everyone you touch, you realize that you were never separate from the universe that seemed to be guiding you from outside. You were always the universe expressing itself through human consciousness, temporarily forgetting its true nature, so it could experience the joy of remembering and awakening. This is the ultimate synchronicity, innate, the recognition that the seeker and the sought, the observer and the observed, the individual consciousness and cosmic consciousness were never separate to begin with, but always one unified field of awareness. Make sure you share this video with your loved ones and family members. Remember, you are not just sharing content, you are spreading positive energy and transformation that can change lives. By sharing, you're becoming a synchronicity yourself in someone else's life, and that positive energy will help you manifest everything you commented about, and more than you can imagine. As we approach the end of our journey together today, I want you to notice something profound and meaningful. Look back at the synchronicity that brought you to this specific video at this exact moment in time. Was it really an accident that you found it today when you needed to hear this message? Was it really random chance that these words are resonating so deeply with something inside you and awakening something that was dormant? What if I told you that your higher self orchestrated this entire encounter before you even knew you were seeking answers about synchronicity and spiritual awakening? What if this video was planted in your timeline months or even years ago, waiting for the perfect moment when your consciousness would be ready to receive these deeper truths and integrate them into your being? Think about it carefully and deeply. Out of billions of videos on the internet, out of infinite possibilities for how you could have spent this precious time, out of countless other directions your attention could have gone today, somehow, some way, you ended up here receiving exactly the information your soul was ready to integrate and embody. That's not coincidence or accident or random chance working in your favor. That's synchronicity at its most profound level operating perfectly. That's evidence that you're not just a random individual navigating an indifferent universe alone. You're a conscious being, guided by infinite intelligence toward experiences that serve your highest evolution and spiritual development. But here's the mystery I want to leave you with to contemplate deeply. If your higher self could orchestrate this moment, this encounter, this activation of your understanding about synchronicity, what else has it orchestrated that you haven't recognized yet in your life? What other synchronicities are currently unfolding in your life that you're missing because you're looking for them in the wrong places or in the wrong ways? What if the challenges you're facing right now are actually synchronicities in disguise designed to help you grow? What if the delays, the obstacles, the apparent setbacks are actually perfect timing from the perspective of your soul's evolution and spiritual journey? What if everything that's happening in your life right now is exactly what needs to happen for you to become who you're truly meant to be? The ultimate question isn't whether synchronicity is real or not anymore. The ultimate question is how synchronistic are you willing to let your life become moving forward? How much divine orchestration are you willing to trust completely? How deeply are you willing to surrender to the intelligence that knows your path better than your thinking mind ever could? The answer to these questions will determine not just what you experience in your future, but who you become as a conscious being in this lifetime. Because in the end, synchronicity isn't just about receiving guidance from the universe like a passive recipient. It's about recognizing that you are the universe itself, expressing itself through human consciousness, guiding itself home to its own infinite nature and divine essence. There's something else I need to share with you before we conclude this transformative journey together today. Something that will help you understand why synchronicity feels so familiar when you first encounter its deeper principles, why it resonates so deeply in your soul even if you've never studied it before in your life. Every human being is born with what I call synchronicity sensitivity, naturally programmed into their consciousness. As children, we naturally live in this flowing state of wonder and magical thinking where everything feels connected and meaningful. We haven't yet learned to dismiss the voice of our intuition or explain away the miraculous coincidences that guide our daily experience and adventures. Watch a young child sometime and notice how they seem to magnetize exactly what they need when they need it most. How they find the perfect stick for their imaginary sword, how they meet exactly the right friend at the playground, how they ask exactly the right question that leads to exactly the adventure their soul is seeking. This isn't just childhood innocence or naive thinking, XDHA, it's synchronicity mastery in its purest and most natural form. But as we grow older and become educated in the ways of the world, we're systematically trained out of this natural ability and connection. We're taught that life is random, that success comes through struggle and force, that we must protect ourselves from an indifferent universe that doesn't care about our well-being or dreams. We learn to trust only what we can see, measure, and control with our limited five senses. We become disconnected from the subtle guidance that flows through our intuition, our dreams, our body sensations, and the synchronistic events that surround us every single day without our conscious awareness. This is why returning to synchronicity mastery feels like coming home to yourself rather than learning something completely new and foreign. You're not acquiring a new skill from scratch, you're remembering an innate ability that was always yours but got covered over by layers of conditioning and social programming that disconnected you from your true nature. The process of awakening to synchronicity is actually a process of unlearning everything that separates you from the natural flow of life and universal intelligence. It's about peeling away the layers of skepticism, fear, and need for control that block your natural receptivity to divine guidance and cosmic communication. When you were a child, you didn't question whether the universe was friendly or whether magic was real in your daily experience. You lived as if everything was possible, as if you were supported by invisible forces, as if the world was designed to help you grow and discover and create and explore without limitations. This childlike trust and openness is exactly the consciousness state that allows synchronicity to flow freely through your life experience. Not childish naivety that ignores practical realities, but childlike wonder that remains open to possibilities beyond what the rational mind can comprehend or control. The saints and sages throughout history, who lived in constant communion with divine guidance, weren't superhuman beings with special powers unavailable to ordinary people. They were simply adults who had successfully maintained or reclaimed their natural childlike receptivity to the intelligence that flows through all existence and connects all beings. Jesus spoke about this when he said, "Unless you become like little children, you cannot enter the kingdom of heaven." He wasn't talking about being immature or irresponsible. He was pointing to the consciousness state where synchronicity becomes your natural way of navigating through life with trust and wonder. The kingdom of heaven isn't a place you go to after death or death. It's a state of consciousness where you recognize your unity with the creative force of the universe and live in harmony with its intelligent unfolding in every moment of your daily experience. When you operate from this consciousness, when you reclaim your natural synchronicity sensitivity, several profound changes begin to happen in your life that will amaze you and everyone around you who witnesses your transformation. First, your relationship with time shifts dramatically from linear to cyclical and eternal. Instead of feeling like you're racing against the clock, trying to fit everything into not enough hours, you begin to experience what the mystics called Kairos time, CMC, the perfect timing where everything unfolds exactly when it needs to happen for optimal results. You stop rushing and forcing and pushing against the natural rhythm of your life and start flowing with the intelligent timing that orchestrates all events for maximum harmony and effectiveness. This doesn't make you passive or lazy. It makes you incredibly efficient because you're working with cosmic intelligence rather than against it. Second, your decision-making process becomes effortless and natural rather than stressful and complicated. Instead of analyzing every option to death and second-guessing yourself constantly, you develop what I call instant knowing. The ability to sense immediately which choice serves your highest good and the highest good of everyone involved. This isn't impulsive decision-making based on emotional reactions or wishful thinking. It's intuitive wisdom that accesses information beyond what your rational mind can process, drawing from the infinite intelligence that sees all possibilities and their consequences simultaneously across multiple dimensions of reality. Third, your relationships transform from effortful struggles to natural collaborations that serve everyone's growth and happiness. When you're living in synchronistic flow, you naturally attract people who are aligned with your authentic path and purpose, and you naturally repel or release connections that no longer serve your highest evolution. This happens without drama, without forcing, without having to have difficult conversations or make painful choices. The universe simply orchestrates circumstances so that supportive relationships flourish while limiting relationships fade away naturally and gracefully for everyone's benefit. Fourth, your creative expression explodes into new dimensions of possibility and innovation that surprise even you. When you're aligned with the creative force of the universe, ideas flow through you that feel like gifts from a higher intelligence. Solutions appear that you couldn't have conceived through logical thinking alone. You become a channel for creative inspiration that serves not just your personal fulfillment, but the evolution of consciousness itself, contributing something unique and valuable to the collective awakening that's happening on our planet right now. Fifth, your sense of purpose becomes crystal clear and unshakable, not as something you have to figure out through career counseling or personality tests, but as a natural expression of who you are when all artificial limitations are removed from your self-concept and identity. Your purpose isn't something you do, it's something you are when you're being completely authentic and allowing your unique gifts to flow freely in service to the whole. It's not a job or a role or a title, it's a frequency of consciousness that you embody and share through whatever forms feel most natural and joyful. As you continue to develop your synchronicity mastery, you'll begin to notice that you're not just receiving guidance for your own life. You're becoming a conduit through which the universe guides others as well, often without you even realizing it's happening. You'll find yourself saying exactly what someone needs to hear at exactly the moment they need to hear it. You'll be guided to be in exactly the right place at exactly the right time to offer exactly the right assistance or support. You'll become what I call a walking synchronicity for everyone whose path crosses yours. This is how the universe multiplies the impact of every individual who aligns with its intelligence by turning them into distribution points for guidance, healing, inspiration, and awakening that ripples out to touch countless other lives in ways that may never be fully known or understood. This is the true meaning of service, not sacrificing yourself for others or trying to fix or save anyone, but simply being so aligned with love and truth that your very presence helps others remember their own connection to the infinite intelligence that lives within them as their deepest essence. When you reach this level of synchronicity mastery, when you become a living bridge between the human and divine dimensions of existence, you realize that everything that ever happened in your life, every joy and every sorrow, every success and every failure, every meeting and every parting, was perfectly orchestrated to bring you to this moment of awakening and service. You understand that your entire life story has been one vast synchronicity, guiding you toward the recognition of who you truly are beyond all the roles and identities and stories that seemed so important when you believed you were separate from the source of all existence. And in this recognition, you find the deepest peace and the greatest joy available to human consciousness. The peace of knowing you are home in the universe, and the joy of being a conscious participant in the divine play of creation itself. If you've made it this far in our journey together, if you've absorbed these revelations about the true nature of synchronicity and consciousness, then you know that this moment is no accident or random occurrence. Your consciousness has been prepared through every experience of your life. Your understanding has been activated by the perfect timing of universal intelligence. Your awareness has been expanded to receive the deeper mysteries that await you on the path ahead. But this is just the beginning of your synchronicity mastery journey, not the end of your exploration and growth. What you've discovered today is the foundation upon which you'll build a completely new way of living and being. Tomorrow, we're going to build something extraordinary upon this foundation that will revolutionize how you experience reality itself. On your screen right now, you're seeing videos that represent the next levels of your awakening and spiritual development. Each one contains keys that will unlock different dimensions of your synchronistic abilities and consciousness potential. Each one reveals different aspects of how consciousness and reality dance together in perfect harmony to create the most beautiful and meaningful life possible. Choose the path that calls to your soul most strongly and resonates with your heart's deepest knowing. Trust that calling completely and without hesitation. It's not random or accidental. It's your quantum field guiding you toward your next perfect unfoldment and expansion into greater levels of mastery and service.